So it's currently 10 PM on Friday the 28th of April, and that means that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was just released in the UK, and I'm going out now to go and see it, and I'm bringing you with me. So it's a probably pretty good question as to why I'm actually going at like 10 PM at night. It's just the pure fact that whenever I go to the cinema on my own, I really don't like people, so I kind of go to the quietest showing possible, and since Guardians is brand new today, I'm going to a cinema that I know not many people use, and I'm also going at an obscure time, so hopefully it won't be too busy. I've just jinxed myself. So a quick little bit of trivia, the stadium next to me, I don't even know its name, and they play some kind of sport there, I believe. Something involving a ball. Well then, there we go. I've just finished up with Guardians Volume 2 and I'm on my way home. So when I get there, we're going to set up the proper cameras and we'll have a bit of an in-depth discussion on what I thought about it. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to think this one over. Let's jump back to there. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'm going to try and do a bit of a recap here. I'm going to go into no spoilers whatsoever, at least I'll try my best, but I've got a few things I need to talk about. There's a couple of little niggles I had with the film and my overall opinion basically, so we might as well start with that. I enjoyed the film. Now, not as much as most other Marvel movies, to be honest. I don't know whether that's just because I've just come out of it and I need a bit more time to process it, or whether I went to see it really late at night and that's kind of, I'm tired and I don't know. There was just something about the film that didn't quite gel with me when I watched it. There was a few things that I kind of didn't get on with, and I'll talk about a few good things first. Let's make a nice shit sandwich here. So, good things first. Star-Lord is still one of my favourite characters. Gamora is now absolutely brilliant. They are both just such a nice little team up. There were some really nice space fights in this film. Although, okay, let's get on to one of my first little niggles. They did the same thing twice, which was a little bit strange, where they, this is no spoilers, but they kind of avoided the action. And it's a bit weird why they do it. Like, they show action in some points and then other times they just completely avoid it. And I understand they do it for comedic effect, but going on to another one of my points is I feel like the comedy was a little bit off in this. It felt a bit immature or a bit overdone. It was a bit full on, especially Drax. He was a funny yet intense character in the first film. And now they've just turned him into a comic relief. I don't really think he ever has a really badass moment like he did in the first film. Now he's just a bit of an idiot that makes weird one-liners, and yeah, that was a bit sad. You can definitely tell that they've just tried to please people with this film. Baby Groot is all over it and he's dancing and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, I came here for a Marvel movie. I was expecting like a certain tone and that kind of thing. I know I'm not expecting, say, the tone of Batman vs Superman, because I know that's not what Marvel is and that's not why I love Marvel. I wouldn't have a bloody poster right here if I didn't love Marvel. And that was a film I really did like. Let's talk about that for a second, because Age of Ultron was a film that I came out of the cinema just feeling overwhelmed and excited and full of adrenaline, and I loved it so much that I went to see it about 4 times in the cinema. It was one of my favourite Marvel films I've seen in a cinema. Since then it's kind of drifted off a little bit, but when I came out of Guardians 2, it really just didn't feel like that. I think one of my biggest disappointments with it was the soundtrack. Now, there were 2 fantastic songs in it, the start song and the end song, and that was about it. The first movie had one of the best film soundtracks I've ever heard. Like, every single one of them songs, I knew them and I kind of already liked them. So when I saw them in the film, it was so good. Especially Escape, one of my favourite songs of all time. And this new film just didn't live up to that, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, it was something I always associated with the Guardians movies, was the soundtrack, and I guess other people would like it. The songs didn't gel with me. That's a very personal opinion. The overall story I did really like. There was a very nice sense of massive stakes, while it was very kind of personally confined to the characters, which is something that Marvel always do really well. Something that I didn't quite like was how disconnected the whole thing feels. So without going into any really bad spoilers, the Guardians spend a little bit of time apart, and most of the film they spend alone with each other. So, as in, that's really hard to explain without giving spoilers. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy and a couple of other people, and that's about it. There are a few Ravagers and that kind of thing around, but you never get to kind of... The end scene of the original Guardians, you could see the stakes were right there because you had all the citizens and they were defending the city, and it was a really, really incredible moment, especially the end with the dance off and everything. That film just hit the perfect tone. But this one, it felt really disconnected. There was this threat on the whole universe, and yeah, I didn't really care. I think that maybe is my biggest problem with the film. I just didn't really care. That's a bit sad, really. I'm hoping to maybe go and see it again. Maybe I'll like it more. Maybe if I sleep on it, I might wake up with a fresh attitude and be like, oh yeah, that was actually really good, but we will see. We will see. Okay, one final point. I have to talk about the after credits scenes because they pissed me off again. They did this with, what's the last Marvel film? Ant-Man. Ant-Man, was that it? I don't know, but one of them pissed me off and I've talked about it before. No, Doctor Strange. Of course it was Doctor Strange. Okay, so we already knew that Guardians 2 would have 5 end credit scenes, and it did very much, and a few of them were kind of just comedy scenes, just kind of revisiting some characters, what they're doing, a bit like the kind of dancing Baby Groot from the first film. Did I talk about dancing Baby Groot? Oh god, Baby Groot danced so much. I hated it. Anyway, the really major, important end credit scene wasn't after the credits, and that's kind of where I'd associate it being. You want to have this build up to this big moment where you're like, so everybody watches this and then they see this first one and you're like, oh, that's a really shocking that's a really shocking revelation, and then you expect something even bigger to come and it doesn't, and that annoys me to no end. It's so annoying. The reveal itself was very good, and if that was at the end, it's just an ordering thing. I didn't mind them, but it's just an ordering thing, and I've got something weird against it. Doctor Strange did the exact same thing. They put the most important end credit scene like halfway through all of the end credit scenes, and I don't know, there's no climax to it, is there? It just sort of then, it builds up to that point and you're like, oh my god, and then there's one other one that's just like, It's not how I'd do it. I guess that's why I don't make films. Oh wait.